You're listening to Turi Ryder's She Said What podcast. I'm Turi, along with Marci Persky. If you've never understood why some people let their houses just fall apart, I've got one good explanation for you. Also in this installment, Marci plans an outing to the county fair. As we record this, it's early afternoon here, and already I am completely exhausted and annoyed.
I'm exhausted, but I'm not annoyed.
Oh, thank goodness. That's one of us. Mostly I'm annoyed because I'm adding page after page to my no good deed goes unpunished file.
Oh, no.
Page after page. We were so excited that we were going to be able to put solar on the roof of our house.
Yeah.
Of course, this means that they look at the roof of your house, and then they showed us the pictures of the roof of our house, and the roof of our house. You know how when you pull a piece of cheese out of the refrigerator and it's gone moldy, and so parts of it are kind of not looking like the color that it should be, and they're kind of eaten away. And then imagine that it's a Swiss cheese slice. So it's got some holy things and some moldy eating away things and some pieces.
You have holes in your roof?
Well, there are missing tiles. Mostly, it's bad. So, okay, all right, okay, thank you. We will replace the roof. Fair enough. So we get one bid that's as much as the entire solar system thing is supposed to cost. But all right, we need to do the roof, so fine. And then the second roofer comes up and he says, yeah, the roof is bad, and while you're at it, the chimney is crappy.
Oh, no.
So, of course, you can't just have a crappy chimney and a good roof, because when they have to fix your chimney, they have to go make holes in the roof. So then you have to call the chimney guy. He comes up and says, oh, yeah, this is bad. It's going to cost $1 zillion, and we have to do their lining. And that guy...
Which cutie are you selling to pay for this?
Maybe, and they fly around with their little drone. We've got so many drones flying around our roof, they probably are going to get in... We're going to get a call from the control tower at O'Hare pretty soon going... What are you flying up there? So then the next chimney people come. They were here today because, you never just go with one bid. And these guys said, gee, the liner, it looks a little rusty. And if we can't get it out of there, we're going to refer you to a HVAC company so you can replace your furnace and your hot water heater and vent them out the side. And then you don't need your chimney at all. So that was when I lost it a little bit, because by the time this really has to be fixed, I will be dead. It's the best argument yet for not buying a house when you're young. Buy a house when you're old, and that way when they start telling you you have to do this and you have to do that, you can just think, well, how old am I likely to live? Now, that'll probably be the next owner's problem. You want to be a good citizen. You want to be a responsible homeowner. And there's always that house on your street that's the cautionary tale where they did nothing.
Maybe I should send Frankie down to you.
I would love that. And at this point, I want to just go, bleep all of you. I'll just stay here till the place comes down around my ears. Because no matter what else goes wrong, at least we are not going to be the worst house on the block. And that house on our block is 2 houses away from us. And it was owned by a woman, and she had a long exit. And then I hate to call him a boyfriend because he must have been 75 years old. He's the guy who used to walk around with the Burberry trench coat, the aged basset hound, and a bottle of Seagram sticking out of his pocket.
Oh, nice.
Big bottle, not a little bottle, big bottle.
Sherlock Holmes?
What did Sherlock Holmes smoked? Opium, that's right. So maybe
well, you can't get that now.
Not so easily, no.
The second
right.
best.
So, yeah, the Seagrams would be the second best. And that guy always used to show up at the neighborhood Christmas party and be handsy with me, so I didn't like him. So then
you couldn't take care of a 75-year-old aunt.
I could, but it's crowded at the Christmas party, and he would sit down in the only seat near you, and as he would speak to you, he would sit closer and closer. I finally just started leaping up for the popcorn ball every time I'd see him. I need more popcorn. I would leap up out of wherever I was sitting whenever I'd see him coming. And the kids, they were like, we always know when he's coming because he clinks, because he never has just one bottle of Seagrams in his pocket. He's got like 2 in case he runs out. So you can imagine the condition of that house. And it happens that house is right next to the super fastidious neighbor where absolutely everything about his home is perfect.
Oh, yeah, I rented from one of those.
Everything. Well, he's out there cleaning the stones around his fish pond with a toothbrush in case they get mossy. So you can imagine how much he appreciated living right next door to Mr. Drunken Handsy Guy with a roof that literally every time there was a high wind, pieces of it would fly off and land in the yard of Mr. Out There with a toothbrush on the moss.
Uh,
So that didn't go
yeah.
well. And so the guy sold his project to two architects who are, I believe the polite expression is, in over their heads.
Okay.
For
That's very polite.
For 5 years, they've been patchkeying. Patchkeying is a scientific term. The neighbors, we were friendly at first, but they choose to do the weirdest things in the weirdest order, okay? The house is rotten. Raccoons live all over the place, ripping
In other
things
words,
off.
it makes your house look like a palace.
It does, absolutely. At first, we were very friendly to them. And then we figured out that their idea of what needed to be done in what order was a little esoteric. Like, instead of fixing the flying apart lead-based paint and the pieces of wood that are landing in everybody's yard, guess what they did?
Replace the windows.
They put in copper gutters.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
That's expensive.
talk about lipstick on a pig.
That's expensive.
Yes. So that house does make our house look better. I will say that. So I'm sort of glad it's there.
So
But
you're getting your roof replaced?
I'm going to have to get my roof replaced. When the solar guy called back, I almost blamed him. Like, if it weren't for you, I'd still be living peacefully under my falling apart roof that hasn't leaked yet. But no, I had to try and do an environmentally responsible thing. And then I shot my mouth off to everybody about how environmentally forward I was going to be to have solar on my roof. And now I'm going to be buried in that
Where's your
roof.
solar?
What?
Too bad you can't get solar shingles.
They keep saying those are coming. I mean, they'll show you in their catalogs. They show you pictures of integrated solar roofs. They'll show you all kinds of things that you actually cannot have.
Yeah. Futurama.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Frankie lived for years in an off-grid house
A yurt.
in a township at 10,000 feet where they used lake water. I could never do it. Luckily, that Frankie is long gone. Now this Frankie has to have a TV set in every room. But I get back to your roof. I'd be hard-pressed to think of a worse job than being a roofer in Chicago in August, September.
There is no
It is
real worst
so
job.
hot. It's so
sewer,
humid.
sewer maybe, sewer job in August or September.
Any job in September that involves being too far down or too far up, I think.
I think that's yes,
Yep.
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
I remembered more stuff that they fixed for no good reason. They spent an entire weekend digging up rocks from the garden and making like a little half a foot high wall around the edge of their property.
Now we have rocks in strategic places around here, mostly to keep animals from digging in or out of the goat yard. And then Frankie made our big fancy fire pit out of those great big giant rocks, but it's all cemented together because people kept tripping tripping into
I
the
wonder
fire
who are
pit.
those people that kept tripping into the fire pit.
I don't know.
Those people.
Honestly, don't know.
I'm just
What else have they done?
Yeah,
Do
but
they have like gold toilets or something?
for all I know, they do. They actually said I asked them one time I saw them before I quit speaking to them altogether. I asked them when they were planning to move in, and they said, well, we need to have a bathroom. Now, this house formerly had 3 bathrooms, and apparently in some strange alternate universe in which these architects reside, you put in copper gutters before you put in a working toilet. I don't understand them at all. And they're big vegans. They'll tell you all about their vegan life. So she's out there every winter filling up the bird feeder while the house is dropping lead waste all over the entire neighborhood. It's very odd.
Lead
Just
paint.
odd people. Very odd. Look, if you want to tear your house apart on the inside, if you're not harboring vermin, because we've got enough vermin over here on our own property, go for it. You want to live in a house with a porta potty in your kitchen? Go for it. I don't care.
You mentioned vermin.
Yes.
We actually have a non-listener who's really angry at us right now because the non-listener was eavesdropping through the door the other day when we were talking about the pack rat
Yes,
that
that got
received
fluids and mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and first aid
yes, and
cream.
Neosporin and everything else, and then was let go into the wild.
Yes, into the
And
wild, which is into Frankie's shed is where.
exactly, well,
Yes.
yeah, and she realized, she goes, you know, I'm gonna get in trouble when my dad listens to this podcast on his way home from work because you know he listens every day. And I said, well, I guess you should have fessed up to him instead of hearing it on the all over the podcast from Turi and I. And she said, I can't do anything. So yeah, she listens through the door, but she doesn't actually listen to us.
Well, she's not counted in our listener numbers, so I don't care what she thinks.
So we don't care.
Yeah, if she wants me to take her opinion under advisement, she needs to be part of our download or streaming statistics. Otherwise,
I can tell her to at least download it. You don't have to listen to it.
right, if you're not even doing that, your father can take 15 pack rats and put them under your pillow for all I care. Because someday we would like somebody to be our sponsor, maybe. Maybe a roofing company, I think.
So this weekend is the Coconino County Fair.
Oh.
Well, we go every year. And actually, I took my kids every year when we lived in Michigan, and we would go to, we'd go to silly things like the Goat Olympics and
Pig races. We like those.
yes,
Yes.
yep, dachshund races, all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've decided to go on Monday because here's the musical lineup. At 10:30 a.m. is The Originals, a Real Big Fish cover band. Is that ironic?
Why would you call yourself the Originals if you're a cover band? That's like a complete non sequitur.
They're followed immediately by Linger, the Cranberries tribute band.
Oh my God.
I think I know 2 Cranberry songs, but the best one is the headliner is Blink 180 True.
Can I just
Which
say,
is false.
why don't you just make face masks of each other and go as the tribute? You can go as the tribute Frankie, and Eve can go as the tribute you, and Frankie can go as the tribute Eve.
You can only find this kind of stuff at county fairs, small county fairs. Big county fairs, they actually have like, big touring artists. But we get all the fake ones with the crazy names. The Originals is my favorite because it's the opposite of original.
Yes, exactly. I think there was a doo-wop act called The Originals, and they did not sound like fish.
But yeah, so we're going to the county fair. We have to look at all the rabbits, and then we go see the chickens, the horses, of course.
Mm.
And don't eat anything.
No,
There's my number
disgusting.
1 rule.
Yeah, it's pretty revolting. You have to make sure that the animal you wish to see is going to be there on the day that you are there.
That's true too.
I went to see the show chickens, and I went to the poultry tent, and they said, "Oh, the chickens are here on Tuesday and Wednesday, and you're here on Friday." And so I'm like, "Oh, please! I didn't know I needed to make an appointment to see a chicken, but I guess now I know." So
Now you know.
now I know.
Well, I want to see the goats because as I'm looking out the window right now at my goats,
Mm-hmm.
we have tons of green grass out there. They have a full feeder of Bermuda hay. There's random straw, and they are both sitting on a table eating their house, chewing literally on their goat house with all this other food all over this 1/3 acre that's fenced in for them.
This is a version of when you buy your kid a really fancy toy and he or she
They
plays
want
with
the
the
box.
box. Yeah, that's what
Yes.
you're looking at there.
Yes,
Yes.
I'm looking at box eaters.
Yes. Well, and of course, Butters has spoiled them by bringing them parts of your furniture. This is the other thing. Maybe they feel like if they eat their house, then they'll get to the recliner that your dog brought them part of yesterday. They're just thinking strategically. If you've made it this far, chances are you've been enjoying Turi Ryder's She Said What podcast, in which case you might also like my book, She Said What? A Life on the Air. You can find that at your neighborhood independent bookstore or on Amazon. Marci and I really appreciate your good reviews wherever you care to leave them. Your kind words help the podcast grow. Thanks.